You've seen these cartoons 100 times. You think you know what's in them, but you don't. Because hiding inside the most beloved shows you grew up watching are messages so deliberately placed that some of the people responsible later tried to have them removed. Some were caught in time, some weren't. Some were never explained at all. By the time we get through all of them, you'll understand why. Let's start. Number 1. Alice in Wonderland, The Trip. This debate should have been over 30 years ago. Alice falls down a rabbit hole into a world with no logical rules. A floating cat with a disconnected grin. A caterpillar sitting on a mushroom speaking in slow drawls about nothing in particular. Alice eats a piece of that same mushroom and her body size changes.
I wonder if I don't care. I'm tired of being only 3 inches high. Yeah, 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 yeah.
A walrus smokes. A dodo smokes. Nothing follows cause and effect. Nothing has consequences. Reality bends constantly. This is not a children's adventure. This is a chemically altered state of consciousness, rendered in watercolor and hand-drawn animation, for an audience who didn't yet have the vocabulary to recognize what they were watching. The imagery isn't coincidental. It's stacked, consistent, and deliberate from the opening frame to the last. Lewis Carroll wrote the original novel in 1865. The debate about what it was really describing has followed it ever since. Kids see a colorful adventure, everyone else sees something else entirely. That gap was designed on purpose. Number 2. Fantasia. Disney hidden in plain sight. This one's a short one, but it went over most people's heads for decades, which is exactly why it deserves to be here. In Disney's Fantasia, specifically The Sorcerer's Apprentice, the powerful wizard at the center of the story is named Yen Sid. Spell that backwards. The character was modeled after Walt Disney himself. His facial features, as described by the animators who knew him, were a direct reference. Yen Sid never introduces himself inside the film. The name only surfaces in the credits. Disney quietly put a version of himself into his own film, scrambled the name, and let audiences figure it out on their own. It was the first major Easter egg in Disney's history, but it would not be the last. Number 3. The Proud Family, The Voice Under the Scene. The Proud Family was a standard American animated sitcom about a black teenager navigating junior high. Funny, warm, nothing in the premise that would raise any flags. In one episode, Penny's mother is interviewing nanny candidates. One of them behaves strangely, erratic, mechanical, like something running on a failing program.
Painted. I've got a new receptionist and we got stick-ups for the cage area. Boring. Did I tell you I've got a 2-headed snake? Boring times 2. Well, Missy, I see you're still wearing those clothes I bought you with the money from this boring time.
The scene plays a straightforward physical comedy. But viewers who went back and slowed the audio down found something underneath the scene's sound design. A woman's voice, layered deliberately into the clip, repeating on a loop, "Please say you love me. Please say you love me." No credit, script reference, or any explanation from anyone at the studio, then or since. It was just there, hidden under a comedic scene in a children's cartoon, sitting undiscovered for years until someone thought to listen more carefully. Nobody has ever explained why. Number 4. Phineas and Ferb, The Bear Confirms Everything. Phineas and Ferb was built to operate on 2 levels, smart enough for kids, genuinely funny for the adults in the room. In The Wizard of Oz, right at the end of the episode credits, after most children have moved on entirely, a bear appears on screen. He's squatting at the base of a tree, reading a newspaper, perfectly calm.
What is that?
Where?
Bear! It looks like a lion.
No, looks like a tiger.
I think it is a bear.
Nope, I'm a combination lion, tiger, and bear.
Oh my.
Fired a nickel for every time I heard that.
Then, just before the screen cuts to black, the bear looks directly into the camera and says, "Yes, yes I do." For kids watching, a random bear, meaningless. For every adult in the room, that is the punchline to the oldest joke in existence.
He's right. There's a zipper right back here. Hey, let me get that for you.
I'm free!
The writers put it in the credits, knowing with absolute certainty that only the parents would get it. They delivered a punchline to an unspoken joke aimed at adults in a children's cartoon at the exact moment children stopped watching. Number 5. DuckTales. Ask About Illuminati. November 1989. DuckTales airs an episode called Yuppie Ducks. Scrooge McDuck visits a doctor for a routine checkup, completely standard. Except there's an eye chart on the wall behind him.
I see. Well, I'm afraid you come to the wrong place. The mental health clinic for the screwballs is down the street, you see.
I am not a screwball.
Well, you are if you come to the free clinic thinking you are the richest duck in Duckburg.
How do you think I got to be the richest?
Eye charts are supposed to carry random, meaningless letters. This one did not. Across multiple scenes in the same episode, this particular chart spelled out a specific, deliberate phrase. Ask About Illuminati. This was 1989, before the internet, before the general public had any real awareness of the Illuminati or occult symbolism. Most of the audience watching that episode had never heard the word. Whoever placed that phrase on that chart knew exactly what they were writing, and knew the audience wasn't equipped to understand. It was unnoticed for years. The animator responsible never came forward. Nobody explained it, it just aired, hidden in plain sight, and sat there quietly until someone finally looked. Number 6. The Emperor's New Groove, The Unsolved Murder. This one was spotted by a Reddit user and Disney has never once responded to it. Midway through the film, a fly screams at Cusco, "Help me!" The spider immediately devours it. Dark comedy, half a second, the film moves on. Here's the problem. Under this film's own established rules, regular animals cannot communicate with humans. This was deliberately set up. An ordinary squirrel earlier in the film responds only with squeaks and gestures. Real animals in this world don't use human language. That rule was made explicit.
I'm gonna have you in prison for life, but I kinda like this better.
I thought you were a changed man.
Oh, come on, I had to say something to get you to take me back to this city.
So all of it was a lie?
The fly broke the rule. It spoke in clear, fluent, understandable human language. Cusco heard it and understood it completely. Which means, under the film's own internal logic, that fly was once a human being. Someone transformed by a potion, just as Cusco was. And that spider, whether it knew it or not, killed a person on screen. In a children's film. With zero follow-up, zero acknowledgement, and zero resolution. The case has never been addressed, it remains open. Number 7. Three Little Pigs, Their Father is on the Wall. Disney's 1933 short, Three Little Pigs, is one of the most significant pieces of animation ever produced. It changed the industry. It proved cartoons could carry real emotional weight. It opened the door for everything that followed, which makes this harder to justify. In the climactic scene, the pigs are safe inside the brick house. The wolf can't reach them. They're dancing, celebrating, singing in pure relief, joy, wall to wall. And on the wall behind them, there is a framed picture, captioned as a portrait of their father. The picture is 3 sausage links. Their father was slaughtered, processed into meat, and these pigs hung a framed image of his physical remains on the wall of their home and danced in front of it during the happiest scene in the film. Disney put that in the background in 1933. Nobody pulled it, it went out exactly as intended. Number 8. Disney's Devil Horns. Across multiple classic Disney films, a specific hand gesture begins to repeat. Fingers raised, shaped like horns. Jasmine makes it, Snow White makes it, the fairy godmother makes it, Cinderella makes it. Each instance in isolation could be dismissed. A random hand position, a coincidence of animation. But the gesture appears across enough characters, across enough different films, made by enough different animators over enough decades, that the coincidence explanation starts to strain. The gesture has been associated with satanic imagery and occult iconography for centuries. Its recurring presence across Disney's most beloved female characters has never been addressed or explained by the studio. Once you know what you're looking for, you'll see it every time. Number 9. Gravity Falls. The Full Code System. Gravity Falls is one of the most deliberately constructed cartoons ever made. At the end of every episode, a cryptogram appeared in the closing credits, and they weren't decorative. They were real, working codes. Episodes 1 through 6 used the Caesar Cipher. 7 through 13 used Atbash. 14 through 19 used A1Z26. Episode 20 combined all three simultaneously. Episodes 21 through 40 used the Visionaire Cipher, one of the most complex classical encoding systems ever devised. The intro sequence contains a hidden whisper at the very end. That whisper, reversed, says 3 letters back. The key to the Caesar cipher, hidden inside the show's own opening. Flash frames in that same intro, appearing too fast to catch in real time, show the Demon Bill cipher beside a small code, decoded, Stan is not what he seems. Fans who cracked every message across the entire run found things ranging from harmless to genuinely unsettling. One end credit message, decoded fully, read, "The end of the world is closer than the end of summer." That was in a cartoon aimed at children. Number 10, Adventure Time, the calculator trick. In one episode, Princess Bubblegum is racing to find a counter curse. She flips deliberately through an ancient spellbook. She finds the solution she needs. On the opposite page, completely unprompted, never addressed by any character, a sequence of numbers is printed in large clear text. 5318008. Get a calculator, type it in, turn it upside down. The writers knew exactly what that number said when flipped. They place it in an open spellbook, in a children's cartoon, directly opposite of an important plot point, and they waited to see how long it would take someone to notice. Number 11, Johnny Bravo, coming soon. Johnny Bravo was late 90s light entertainment. A muscular, vain guy with big hair and a leather jacket. No depth required. In one episode that aired in 2001, before September of that year, a background shot shows a tall building completely engulfed in fire and smoke. Flames blasting outward, dark plumes rising. Above the building, in plain legible text, coming soon. The Simpsons get most of the attention for seeming to predict certain events. But Johnny Bravo has a timestamp frame, broadcast before the fact, showing a burning tower with exactly those 2 words positioned above it. Nobody who worked on the episode has ever explained how that frame made it into the final cut. Number 12, The Lion King, Names as Destiny. The Lion King hid 2 distinct things, and neither is the one most people think they remember. The first, early in the film, Zazu says to Mufasa about Scar, he'd make a very handsome throw rug. It lands as a bird joke. Everyone moves on. In Disney's later film Hercules, Scar reappears, not as a villain, as a literal throw rug draped over Hercules after a hunt.
This stuff doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere.
You can't give up now. I'm counting on you.
Zazu's joke was a prediction. The murderer who took the Pride Lands through betrayal ended up exactly as described, decorative floor covering. The second is in the names themselves. Mufasa's name traces to the last king of the Baganda dynasty, and in the Manazato language translates directly to king. His brother's birth name was Taka. In Swahili, Taka means filth, waste, dirt. 2 brothers, one named King, one named Filth. Before either had done anything, the rivalry the entire story is built on was embedded into their identities from birth, by their own parents. Number 13, Disney's Missing Mothers. Count them. Bambi's mother, shot in the opening act. Ariel has no mother. Belle has no mother. Elsa and Anna's mother dies early. Cinderella's mother is gone before the story starts. Snow White's mother, absent. The standard explanation is narrative mechanics. Remove the safety net. Force the protagonist to stand alone. It's logical, and it works. But those who researched Walt Disney's personal history found a different answer, and it's not a theory. In 1938, Walt Disney purchased a house for his parents. Shortly after they moved in, his mother Flora died of carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty furnace in the house Walt had bought for her. She was 70. The cause was entirely preventable. The furnace could have been repaired, but it wasn't. Walt rarely spoke about it publicly. Those close to him described it as a wound he carried permanently. He died 28 years later, having never fully processed it. The belief held by people who knew him was that the recurring absence of mothers in his films was private grief. Guilt embedded into the structure of every story his studio produced. He never confirmed it. He never denied it either. Number 14, Care Bears, the cult psychology. The Care Bears asked children, directly, repeatedly, to stare at the television screen and project their emotional energy at whatever problem needed fixing. Beam love through your eyes. Your feelings have power in the world. Do it together. In the second feature film, this collective stare resurrects the dead, and it wasn't only used against actual villains. In one instance, the Care Bears deployed the stare against a woman who simply wanted to close her shop. She had ordinary personal reasons. The bears overrode her individual will using the collective emotional force of children staring at the screen. She had no say. The group's need for consensus outweighed her right to feel differently. Researchers have noted that this is foundational cult psychology, emotional conformity as social pressure, the group as the ultimate authority, individual feeling as a problem to be corrected, delivered in pastel colors, with jingles, to 4-year-olds. Number 15, Thomas the Tank Engine, the Scrapyard. In one episode of Thomas and Friends, a train named Stepney, known as the Bluebell Engine, grows too old to work, so they take him to the scrapyard. The scrapyard is a massive metal graveyard. The animators made certain children could see the fear on the train's faces as it happened. One train in the background had its face completely removed. These are characters children have watched for seasons. Characters with voices, personalities, and emotions that children have formed real attachments to. The show brought those same children to a location where those characters are dismantled alive, their useful components stripped, their remains left to rust. The message underneath the episode is precise. When you can no longer produce, you get discarded. Thomas delivered that to its youngest viewers in an episode about a friendly blue train. Number 16, the Ant Bully, Freemason Symbols. In the Ant Bully, a Reddit user named Normandia posted something to the conspiracy board that gained significant traction. The film's grandmother character, a recurring background presence associated with alien and UFO beliefs, appears in scenes where two specific symbols are clearly visible. The Freemason symbol is carved into the back of her chair. The all-seeing eye is knitted directly into the pattern on her sweater, the same symbol that appears on the United States dollar bill. One commenter who claimed to be a former Mason offered a line that stuck. Masonry only seems benevolent on its surface to the bottom rung members. It gets creepier the higher up it goes. Disney has never commented on why those symbols are in the film. Number 17, Dora the Explorer, the Reverse Theme. Dora the Explorer is one of the most deliberately innocent children's shows ever produced. Educational, cheerful. A 7-year-old with a purple backpack solving problems and helping people. Multiple people have claimed that when you reverse the Dora theme song, the audio contains the words "Hail Satan." Backward masking. Hidden messages embedded in audio only audible when the recording is reversed has been a recurring accusation since the 1960s. Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Judas Priest, these are the names that tend to come up. Not Nickelodeon. Not children's educational programming. Not Dora. Play yourself. Form your own opinion. The debate has never been settled, and almost certainly never will be. Number 18, SpongeBob, Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob SquarePants is set in an underwater city called Bikini Bottom. Its residents include a talking sponge, a dim-witted starfish, a bitter squid, and a squirrel living inside a pressurized dome. They all have oversized eyes, unstable personalities, behaviors that don't match any real marine biology.
Wanna do today?
I don't know, what do you want to do today?
I don't know, what do you wanna do today?
Bikini Atoll is a real place, an atoll in the Marshall Islands. Between 1946 and the late 1950s, the United States detonated more than 20 nuclear devices there, several of them underwater, in the water these characters would be living in. The testing contaminated the ecosystem. It irradiated the environment for generations. SpongeBob lives directly above a former nuclear test site. His entire population of wide-eyed, neurologically unusual, physically impossible sea creatures sits at the bottom of an ocean that absorbed 2 decades of nuclear detonations. The show never confirmed it. The creators never addressed it. But the name, the location, and every mutated character in that city sitting above an active test zone is not something that can be written off as coincidence. So, hidden in names, background details, reversed audio, end credits, and the structure of entire fictional universes. None of it accidental. Drop a comment. Which one actually got to you? Which one are you going back to rewatch? If you already knew any of these before today, call it out. Let's find out who is actually paying attention. Subscribe and hit the bell. The next video goes even further into the shows you thought you understood, and you'll want to be there.